X-Men, or it could be with Red. I mean, Angry Birds for the A, then Samurai Jack for the S, so AS. But honestly, who knows? But it could be Phoenix Man is next after King's rerun on the wheel, which would be late since it leaves April 20th. So Phoenix Man could come out after a week period, but who truly knows? So, Atomic Samurai. Without his keepsake, he attacks 5 consecutive times, dealing 650% of attack, reducing the target's triggered or existing specialized unyielding state by 2 actions. Which means that it'll take 2 turns to pass, and they'll immediately come out of that state. Also, with the keepsake, it'll increase it by 750% of his attacks, but also grants all allies 1 state of action of specialized unyielding. So, Atomic Samurai without a keepsake will reduce, but with friend facing an enemy, they'll just negate that other Atomic Samurai who has no keepsake, just making it 1 state of turn reduced. And follow-ups do not count as well for it. So his passive grants 60% of non-crit damage red when each character takes an action. He heals 10% of max HP. 5 stars, 70% and 15%. 5P, 80% non-crit damage. And 20% of max HP. And for Awakened Passive, which is pretty big to counter CK, reduces the enemy's max HP by 50% up to the Atomic Samurai's 600% attack, and prevents the target to increase in HP. After defeating an enemy or triggering the enemy's specialized unyielding, launches a follow-up, an ultimate follow-up to a random enemy. Enemy takes 80% damage of the ult 1 turn. And for Awaken 2, it permanently decreases 40% of attack on the enemy in the row, in the column, I mean. This would you like to have on Atomic Samurai? For hero buff gear, you'll like 3 attack percents and 2 flat H attack. With class, you want 3 damage rates and attack. For buff, you want 3 crits and flat attack. And for the gear that you want, you want to build them pretty tanky, so you can take advantage of his passive for the non-crit damage. So a DK set would be preferred, but you could also make a Metal Knight set to increase his damage output as well. Depending on what type of route you want to take, you can put them all attack and attack percent, or you can do a chest with attack crit rate and legs attack crit damage. But it just depends if you want to increase the odds of critting against another Atomic Samurai user, but the decision is up to you. Most you want to go for stats. If you cannot make a full set, please do not try to with purple gear. Most try, and that just reduces their output and stats along with it. For me, I feel that the support features you want to use are Bastion and Heart, and you can also use Chaos for the ultimate damage reduction, but Bastion will be useful to take advantage of his non-crit damage passive. And for his damage sigils, you'll want Sword or Piercing. Piercing for only if it's level 7, so you can get the extra 3% ult damage. And for how you want to raise each node, You want to mostly raise his stats and his crit and crit damage he gets into tier 2, 3. Tier 3, you can do stats again, and also the special node that he gets that differentiates him from the previous SSRs, which is heal rate, and also increase his damage as well. But the decision is up to you if you want to make him more tanky, put more block, and reflect on him as well, and lifesteal if you like. But for the best possible output, that's what is recommended to do. Here are some teams I advise that most whales and med spenders will be using. For the A2 and 3 Guryu team, this is what most high spender whales will be using. Atomic Samurai behind Metal Bat, since Metal Bat will just be there to tank the damage, and also when he falls, Atomic Samurai will be safe from any follow-ups or being directly attacked by Atomic Samurai. This team is pretty good, I'd say. Most can optimally use it, but not all. This is only like reserved for the 1% players. The bottom one is still good. It takes uses Galewin instead of Silverfang due to the 3 stuns, or even 4 if you use a formal, but depends if you're using a fast Galewin as well. Here, the dog is there just to help negate the king ult from an enemy team, but it still does the work as well. It just allows you to use Metal Bat's ult if possible. Here is a more tankier team on the bottom middle. Instead of Metal Bat, it is Boros, taking advantage of his minions, allowing you to have more survivability and tanking. He's just there to pretty much support. He can ult, but depending on who he's ulting, it may backfire or it may help. Top right, Sonic users will have a pretty hard time trying to manage to fit in Atomic Samurai while taking out Metal Bat, sadly, since it's still going to come down to CK versus CK no matter what. It will be later on, maybe till like Gogetsu, but you still probably still using CK, but CK will still be prevalent then. You can use Watchdog Man or Fist Fight Jin, depending if you don't have Watchdog Man. But you can also use Galewin, but it depends on who you're trying to gap and if you have the stats to fight a king player. On the bottom one makes you more tankier with Boros, but you'll lack energy. So that's why I decided to put Watchdog Man and Fist Fight Jin. The positionings that you see on this team build is what you want, since most of these guys are just there to die or to be used as utility. Here is a team for the supposed hint. It may be reaching, but just in case it happens, these are the teams that you'll want to use. You want to speed up Phoenix Man so you can take advantage of his ult where he takes away somebody from the field. But I'll go more in depth if it's officially confirmed next month that he's coming out. But if not, this will just be here for y'all to come back either to rewatch just to see this. But here are the teams I devised. It's pretty hard for Sonic users to use, but it is possible. It'll make a big advantage taking out a unit that they cannot use, that removes their passive along with their on-field effects. It does not affect speedsters, that's the only thing. Alright, here are the pros and cons of pulling for Atomic Samurai, which is a PvP unit and slightly PvE, but he does not do as well as Metal Bat and the previous predecessors. The pros: reduces triggered existing unyielding state by 2 actions, increases allies enhanced unyielding if you get the keepsake, and he's extremely tanky once he's 5p, since he'll be taking 80% of non-crit damage. But the cons is he's countered by Gyro with Silent, which negates him from ulting, so you won't be taking advantage of his 40% damage reduction. Attack, sorry. As long as you need Keepsake and Awaken 2 to maximize the potential. And for people who I think should be pulling, if they're PvP focused, are free to play with Keepsake but no Awaken 2. Mid spenders should get Awaken 2, pull Keepsake and him. Also Wells should pull Keepsake and Awaken 2. And those like Mass X, Awaken 3, which is extremely useless, but I guess tickles their fancy. I hope you guys have a good day, and if you have any more questions or want to follow up, go into the description and join my Discord. There are plenty of people ready to help y'all know to take advantage of this game and learn to be better.